Hello, this is Dr. Mode, and today in ICP we're going to continue going through section 1 in the chapter on energy sources, and this section is about fossil fuels. Our scripture verse from today comes from Romans chapter 12, verse 20. It says, "To the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink. For by doing so, you will heap burning coals on his head." Now, this verse kind of paints a funny picture, like you're going to actually dump burning coals on somebody's head. But what it's actually saying there at the end is that you will provide him with some burning coals that he will be able to carry back to his place and have a fire where he's staying. So it's also just like giving him food and water and providing him with things that he needs. This is a good thing, and it involves coal, so I thought its tie to fossil fuels was relevant to this lesson. So I hope you enjoyed that. So again, here's our schedule for Chapter 8, and we've already completed the first part of Section 1, so we're on Part 2 of Section 1. Okay, the first fossil fuel we're going to talk about today is coal. Coal is a solid fossil fuel that can be found in mines. In the early 1900s, most of the homes in the U.S. were heated by coal, and it provided more than half of the energy used. Now, it's been reduced to about a fourth, and about 90% of the coal that is used in the U.S. is burned by power plants to produce electricity. Okay, so this electricity that's produced requires fuel burned in a combustion chamber that converts the chemical potential energy into thermal energy. Remember that chemical potential energy is the energy stored in the bonds between atoms. And this heats up water and produces pressurized steam. This steam then strikes the blades of a turbine, causing it to spin, converting that thermal energy into mechanical energy. This shaft of the turbine connects to an electric generator, which converts the mechanical energy into electrical energy. So the electrical energy is then transmitted through the power lines to the homes and businesses where we use it. So how efficient is this process at the power plant of converting coal into the electrical energy that we used? Well, a power plant's efficiency is how much energy is available to do work and produce electricity. So the overall efficiency of fossil fuel burning power plants is roughly 35%. Seems kind of low. If you look at the different stages, you can see here in my little table on the right that in stage 1, the fuel burning is the lowest percentage of the 5 stages. It has a 60% efficiency. Stage 2 is the steam production, and there's a higher percentage of efficiency there, 90%. Stage 3, where the turbine is spinning, that's got a 75% efficiency. Stage 4, where we actually generate the electricity, this is the highest percent efficiency. It's got 95%. And then in stage 5, transmission has a 90% efficiency. So what are the environmental costs of using these fossil fuels to produce our electricity? Well, the main thing that they do is they produce gases like carbon dioxide when they are burned. And this figure that we have here shows how the concentration of CO2 in the atmosphere has increased from 1958 to 2010. So you can see that we can see the trend line going up here. It's starting at about 315 parts per million, and it's ending up at about 385, 390 parts per million. So the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere has increased some. Okay. Another environmental cost is acid rain. So when you have certain compounds that are released into the atmosphere. When it rains, when this water mixes with it, it'll actually form an acid that can eat away at some different things. So fossil fuels in general are known as non-renewable resources, and that's because they're not being replaced or regenerated in the environment as quickly as they are being used. And this is causing a problem with the supply decreasing and the cost and demand are increasing. So this energy demand that we have needs to be met by different alternatives, and that's why I've pictured here some of the wind turbines that we can see, and we've already talked about solar energy. So alternative energies are important for our future to meet the rising energy demands that we have.